Powell, City Hall Bureau Chief with City and State. Joining me on today's City and State TV is Councilwoman Helen Rosenthal. She represents the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Thank you for joining us today, Councilwoman.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to talk a little bit today about the proliferation of the quote-unquote poor door, as it's been tabbed by the tabloids in the city. Which I guess for those of our viewers who don't know, there have been some developments in the city, some residential developments that have separate entrances for the market rate residents and for the affordable housing residents, and it's caused a lot of controversy. So, Councilwoman, if you could take us through kind of this issue, where this first arose with the Extel development on Riverside, and kind of how it's developed since then, and we can go from there.
Sure. So it seems to be happening a lot in my district. So I appreciate your giving me this opportunity to chat about it. You know, it's been going on now for a couple of years, and I just started dealing with it publicly as a council person starting in January. And the first thing that I would want to say is, it's time to move away from that expression. What we really need to be calling it accurately is it's a separate entrance. And the notion is that if you're an affordable housing tenant and you're lucky and you've won the lottery, which is really true, and you have access to this building now, should there be a separate entrance for those tenants versus the ones who are paying market rate? And I think, though, if there are a proliferation really because of a loophole that some of the developers are exploiting from the 2009 inclusionary housing zoning, which meant to, as the name of it is, inclusionary housing, which meant to increase the amount of inclusionary affordable housing, where you would have integrated buildings with affordable housing tenants right next door to market rate tenants. So a couple of these developers have exploited that loophole, as I say, and instead used it as an opportunity to have two separate entrances. There's one already built in my district that's been there for a while on West 61st Street that was part of the original Trump Tower developments. This last one going up, which is one of the last buildings as part of that 1992 Trump Tower agreement, is at 40 Riverside Boulevard. And now there's an opportunity, unfortunately, for more instances at the new Riverside Center South developments at 59th and West End Avenue. And that's where this new development has just been approved by HPD to have affordable housing with, unfortunately, two separate entrances.
And this is just to be clear, this is the development on 10 Freedom Place
yes.
That Larry Silverstein and El Odd are developing?
Exactly right. So there will be two entrances. One is 1 West End Avenue, and on the exact opposite side of the building will be 10 Freedom Place. It's technically two segments of the same building. And once you have two segments, then legally you're actually required to have two separate elevator cores, two separate doors, two separate lobbies. And of course, what the developers do is build it in such a way so that there is a concierge and a wonderful lobby at 1 West End Avenue, but really no desk available even for a concierge at 10 Freedom Place. That entrance will be like any doorman-less building.
Right. And this, the arrangement at the Silverstein property, I understand was rejiggered a little bit by HPD and the administration, and I don't know if you've had an involvement in that as well. Can you talk a little bit about what was changed? I understand that there will now be shared access to the courtyard and roof deck, right. And then there's some kind of some changes there made to kind of smooth over that arrangement, but it's not perfect, it seems. So can you talk a little bit about that?
That's exactly right. So, by law, the developer is required to come to HPD for the final sign-off on affordable housing. And, because this administration is the one that it is, we're very grateful that HPD pulled the electeds into the discussions as well, right? So HPD, I think Commissioner Bean did an exemplary job making sure that this affordable housing would be not just on paper, but in practicality, financially secure and physically secure. So we can be assured that even when we're out of office, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years from now, there will be solid, well-maintained affordable housing at this building. And that's terrific, and that's a huge leap forward. The reason